Hi, I'm Bolton, the founder of Animas Centre for Coaching. Now in this video I want to explore the integrative principle of transformative coaching. This principle recognises the sheer complexity of human experience and acknowledges that no single theory, no single model and no single school of thought can ever fully capture the richness of what it means to work with people at depth. As coaches move beyond the early years of core coaching, they often feel a pressure to pick a lane, to become a cognitive coach, a psychodynamic coach, a humanistic coach or a solution-focused coach. And while these traditions each offer something really valuable, transformative coaching invites us to take a wider view. The integrative principle says that coaching is at its most powerful when it draws from multiple perspectives, not by mixing them together indiscriminately, but by allowing the coach to respond to the client in the way that the moment uniquely calls for. It's not eclecticism for the sake of variety or fun, it's integration for the sake of responsive depth. Every client arrives with a different story, a different history, a different way of making meaning. Some come with strongly cognitive frameworks, others are guided more by emotion or intuition, others shaped by systems and cultures that influence every aspect of how they see the world. An integrative coach is someone who can meet that diversity both with humility and with range. The principle also asks us to recognize that each psychological and philosophical tradition reveals only part of the human picture. Cognitive approaches help us understand thinking. Humanistic approaches illuminate the person's inherent potential. Existential approaches explore meaning, choice, and identity. Phenomenology reveals lived experience. Systems theory situates the person in their context. Psychodynamic work brings awareness to the unseen, unconscious elements. Somatic work connects us to the body's wisdom. On their own, each may be insufficient for the work that's needed in the moment. Together, though, they give us a fuller, more textured map of the human world. But integration doesn't mean switching tools constantly or jumping between theories. In transformative coaching, integration is more about a stance than a technique. It's about being more focused on the client's needs and their experiences rather than our attachment to a theoretical framework. It's about cultivating the capacity to draw from different ways of understanding while holding them lightly enough that they don't become dogmatic. It requires the unknowing principle, the willingness to not impose a model prematurely. It requires the phenomenological principle, the commitment to understand the client's experience before choosing how to work with it. It requires the relational principle because the relationship itself determines what's possible. It requires the pragmatic principle because we're interested in what works, not what we believe in. In this sense, the integrative principle isn't about the coach showing range, it's about the coach being responsive. It's about seeing the client as a whole complex human rather than as a problem to be solved through a particular lens. A coach who works integratively is guided not by allegiance to a method, but by attentiveness to the moment. When coaching becomes integrative in this sense, it feels fluid, it feels responsive, it feels human. The coach is not applying ideas or applying tools. They're engaging in a dynamic relational inquiry that can move seamlessly between insight, meaning, emotion, worldview, and action. The client is not being fitted into a model, the models and frameworks adapt to the client. So the integrative principle at its core honors the complexity of the human life. It acknowledges that transformation rarely emerges through a single thread. It emerges from weaving together multiple threads into a coherent, meaningful whole. And so when we coach in this integrative way, we can help clients see themselves more completely, live more congruently, and move through the world in a way that feels aligned with every part of who they are. Thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next one.